Welcome to the Spire Sessions, an online series where our Spire leaders talk about interesting developments, trends, opportunities in hot industries. I'm Marie, and in today's session, we have with us Japnit, our Deputy CEO. Japnit has been with Spire since 2004, and in the 17 years with Spire, he's closed over 1,000 market research projects in logistics, industrial, ICT, food, and construction sectors. Through these projects, Japnit developed broad and in-depth experience in these industries. Now, in recent years, Spire's portfolio for food sector in particular was strengthened. Japnit, can you share with us how that came about?
Yeah. Over the last 20 years, um, we've actually been cutting across various sectors, and organically, I think we've seen a lot of interest in the food sector from some
Mm-hmm.
of our clients. Um, Over the years, we've also built up new capabilities. So in terms of our staff and team of experts, we've now got people with agricultural background, agricultural policy. We've got people from export promotion from various countries, actually. And these people, have it's happened that they focus on agricultural products. Also, our team of advisors, we've got people who are from nutrition, for example, food chemistry. We've got some people who are doing that background. So I think um, we've built this diverse team, and our client base has gone up, and it's been very, very diverse. Agriculture is one area that we're doing quite a lot of work in, but also, things like taste tests. We're doing things in supply chain management, cold storage. We've recently started doing some work around developmental policy, so developing food security, for example. We've done work around counterfeits across sectors, food being one of them as well. So our range of clients, range of work has over the years really, really grown, as has our internal capabilities and expertise. So it's been this nice dance of the two that has got us here.
Hmm, I see. Indeed. Now, I realize that the term food is quite general because, like what you say, it actually encompasses a lot of things. There are so many touch points when it comes to food. Now, can you maybe share with us an observation how the food industry has changed in the last few years?
Most aspects of how we use products and services has evolved quite drastically over that period. I mean, fashion industry, for example, the clothes that we wear are very different from the clothes that our parents used to wear. The houses that we live in, the city the cityscape and architecture, all of these things have evolved. And to a very large extent in Asia, we've become westernized.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you reflect on that, there is one area where that change has not happened so rapidly, and that is food. We still continue to a very large extent to be tied to our roots when we talk about cuisine and our tastes and things. Yes, of course, there has been some globalization, but the pace at which that has happened is a lot slower than in some of the other industries. So uh, consumer tastes tend to be more permanent, more generational, is something that we've realized. And it's not just us. I think the Western brands have come to realize this as well. And this is, again, a trend that we're saying. I wouldn't say it's new, but this is a part of the evolution of the food sector, actually. Um, we're seeing increasingly international brands now coming into Asia with a local twist or a local product variant and things like that. The the menus at Western restaurants, for example, have started
Mm-hmm.
infusing local flavors. And again, this is not new. So
Mm.
we're seeing sort of this Asianization or reverse Westernization, if I can call it that, of food tastes. Now, the other sort of interesting thing, and I'm changing channels a little bit here. The other interesting thing that's happened, and partially this was government playing a role, and that's around labeling standards. And actually, it's not just governments. The consciousness from the customers, from the consumers, on the product labels, and from channels. So if you go to an organized retail, they've started insisting that the products that they shelve should have adequate information beyond sort of what the governments are stipulating. So labeling standards have become this platform, and that has now enabled to a very large extent a conversation about nutrition, which was unprecedented in the past. So from what's inside my food, it's gone to how this food impacts my health, and customers have become more cognizant of that. And it's changed how food companies actually are marketing the products. That there's a lot more conversation about food.
That's really interesting, especially the part about Asianization, because I've noticed that a lot of fast food chains, as well as a lot of restaurants, they have introduced a lot of localized burgers in Malaysia, in Thailand, in Singapore. And also, when you talk about the labeling part, I also thought about how, because in general, literacy has gone up. So the conversation needs to move forward. Now, Japnit, can you tell us more about trends moving forward?
I'm actually so glad you asked that question, Marie. Very recently, we've started developing up a database of food companies here in Southeast Asia. I think we're halfway done. We're compiling a list, and I mean, not just a list, we're actually contacting these people to come up with relationships and have the network with food sector companies across the Southeast Asia region. So rather than tell you what I think, maybe I'll tell you what these companies are saying. We've very recently done a survey with them, and we've talked about what trends are they expecting for the future. So 5 things sort of come out of that. Number 1, sustainability is going to become even more important. It's becoming more important to the consumers, and hence it's becoming important to the companies. Health and nutrition is going to, the communication and the value proposition is going to evolve. It's not going to be less of what's bad, but it's going to be more of what's good. So, food products will start adding beneficial products or beneficial ingredients to what they're offering, rather than just cut down on things like sugar and fat.
Right.
So it's going to become a more add the good stuff sort of a process. The third trend I think we're going to see is localization of ingredients. Companies are saying that they want to buy more from local suppliers as well as locally produced food ingredients. The third area is engineering for home consumption. So delivery has become a very well-established channel now. And we're seeing that food companies and manufacturers are now going back to the design board to develop products that can sustain that 20, 30-minute bike ride in some cities, even more. From a technical aspect, the food chemistry needs to change. A lot of food is not designed for delivery. So more and more companies are going to start doing that, especially in the food service sector. And then the last one is around traceability. So a more transparent supply chain, a more accountable supply chain. Technology enables that to a very large extent. I think is going to be the 5 trends. So these 5 things seem to be what everybody in the food sector is talking about in Southeast Asia.
Wow. That's okay. Honestly, I find it very interesting. And I really like to get in depth into those trends. However, we've run out of time. So please come back again. It looks like we can have a spin-off of this series just talking about food. So that's all the time we have for this session. At the next session and the next few, we'll be talking a whole lot more about trends, also delving into each particular trend and talking more about them from a supply chain point of view, consumer point of view, and all that. So thanks again, Japnit, for taking time out to come on sessions. And thank you all for watching. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask Japnit or find out more about Spire Research and Consulting, drop us a line at spire@spireresearch.com. And that's all we have for today. Take care, keep safe, and we'll see you soon at our next episode.
Thank you, Marie. Always a pleasure to talk to you. It's great that we're reaching out. I hope more and more food companies see this. There's so much of interesting stuff that we could talk about, and I'm happy to get on another video with you, or with any of the viewers that have questions. Please feel free to reach out to us.
Will do. Goodbye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.